Welcome back, everybody, to episode 133 of the Lookout Podcast. I am Meelz, and I'm sitting here with LJ, and we are here.
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here. Another week. It's my second week.
Listen, and you ain't get let go yet, brother. Come on, man.
I'm still here. All right,
still
cool.
here.
I like it.
You know what I'm
Second
saying?
week of the job.
We are here. There's so much stuff going on in the anime world right now. Fall anime is really like heating up.
So good. It's so good.
Listen, episodes of everything. First of all, Hunter x Hunter is back this week.
I know.
Man.
I'm excited. Listen, bro, we're eating.
Back.
Anime fans are eating really good this fall, winter. Like, we're cozied up. We're real cozy. The limbs are relaxed.
Like, Hunter x Hunter is here. It's back. I have to catch up. If you haven't caught up, we have a thread on our Twitter. Follow the Lookout RNC on Twitter. And we have a thread to kind of catch you up and hit all the major points. But now I get to add that to my carousel of like stuff that I'm reading week to week. Also picked up, what did I pick up? This thing about the smartphone that's too damn smart. What's that manga
called? Is it called Smartphone? But that got canceled, right? That just got.
I think it ended. Yeah, it recently ended. But I literally just started it, and I was like, "Oh, it ended? Nice." That means yes, super smartphone. So I started that. I picked that up, and
we need a Mark's "I'm Not a Genius" breakdown on the super smartphone.
Clearly,
you can tell us the iOS on that.
Absolutely. What are you reading? Just really quickly. What are you reading?
What am I reading right now? I mean, outside of the typical stuff, Jujutsu Kaisen's still good. My Hero Academia. At this point, I think I'm hate reading My Hero Academia, but that's a completely different discussion we can have on a completely different day.
It's a completely different. I don't even want to ruin the goodwill and time by debating this thing currently right now.
Sakamoto Days, though, really right now. Sakamoto Days and Blue Box right now are really the two that are there. Those are two special mangas that are just running, and I'm really excited to be reading those. I'm happy those are in my life.
Well, listen, besides fall anime, besides fall manga, one of the best things you have to look forward to this fall is Anime NYC, anime conventions. First of all, shout out to, beyond that, there's going to be Atlanta one that a couple of our guys going to be at. If you want to AD and Versace Vegeta, they will be at Anime Weekend Atlanta. Why do I keep it? You know why? Because I watch too much wrestling. And
you do. You watch a lot of it.
There's another AWA.
On pay-per-view only. I catch up on the storylines of the chat.
But this year, you have to look forward to the second biggest anime convention in the country. Damn it, forget in the world. Probably not in the world, but maybe in the country. Anime NYC that we look forward to. We'll be there. There's a lot of great happenings going on surrounding Anime NYC, and guess what? We have the director of Anime NYC, Peter Tatara, on our podcast this week. What a great interview that we got for you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like a huge thanks to Peter. Just so much insight, and I think the best thing about it is that this is an anime convention put on by people and a person that just truly loves anime. There's no other reason for it. It's just, you can hear it in his voice. You can hear when he talks about it. This is a guy that just loves anime culture and just loves anime so much. And all he really wants to do is create an experience for all anime fans that you can just feel the love in there. I mean, our first year was last year, and you can feel it there. I know this year, with all the things already announced and the things that are coming, we're in for probably even a greater year than last year. I felt last year was amazing.
Absolutely. So we talk about all of that. We talk about everything that happened last year. If you guys are still waiting online, trust me, you won't have to wait in line much longer because he addresses that as well. We talk about a ton of different things about Anime NYC. So let's not even bury the lead. Let's head over to the interview with Peter Tatara of Anime NYC right here on The Lookout. Welcome back, everybody, to The Lookout, and we have a very special guest here. Man, what can I say? the Is it the maestro behind Anime NYC? Oh my god!
We
What
can
would
go with
The
you...
the Geppetto of Anime NYC. I like that.
Also, not far off. It is a team effort, but sure, we can go with that as well.
We have the director of Anime NYC. Everything that goes on, I would at least be approved for you. I see emails in my inbox every day about. I just got the email about RDC World and King Vader appearing at
RDC,
Anime NYC.
yep. RDC, Vader, Stella Chu, I think all announced today. We got another
Uh,
announcement later today too. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, all right. Well, this will be out. This will be out on not today. So
Mhm.
if you ever want to do share it, but nonetheless, we have Peter of Anime NYC. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. No, really appreciate the chat today. This is giving me a break from doing Anime NYC stuff. So happy to take some time to geek out.
Oh my god. Well, first of all, just anime NYC just in general, like how does that I believe this is the 5th year that you guys are doing
Mm-hmm.
this. How did that kind of even start? Like how do you even propose an idea for a convention just in general?
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there are at this point, I mean, well, before COVID, there was probably an anime con every weekend someplace in the US.
Mhm.
Um, Given where we are now, not every con is fully back, but most cities have some type of anime convention. Some are small, some are big. Anime NYC is very big. And like, there's nothing stopping a group of fans from doing a small convention anywhere in the country. The opportunity and the challenge with Anime NYC is we're here in New York City, the biggest city in the country. But because of that, it takes a lot more resource to make an event like this happen. Like my background is I live in New York. I'm an anime fan. I've been a fan since a little kid. Um, Ran anime clubs in middle school, high school, and college. Started working for an anime publisher in the 90s called Central Park Media. Um, Spent like close to 10 years working on the New York Comic Con team, and ultimately loved my time with New York Comic Con, but left because I really wanted to focus on anime. Like, I love nothing more than doing things that bring anime fans and anime creators together here in New York. Um, so I know this is me rambling at this point, but how it came about was really working with a professional group of people with the intent of, can we do something here in the city? And we knew fans wanted this, but like our first conversations were with Aniplex and Crunchyroll and Bandai and those kinds of big entities and those companies that really generate so much of the anime that's out there. As we couldn't do a show in a city as big as New York without their support. And we spent probably a full year before we launched the show. We launched the event in 2017, and we spent over 12 months talking to different anime companies, both in the US and Japan, saying, do you want this? Do you want a space that's a platform for you to promote what's new, what's cool from Japan here in New York? And we've been absolutely thrilled, absolutely floored by the response. How big they came out that first year and how much they've come out every single year. Um, as we get to this year, like we'll talk about some of the stuff that's going on. But again, like it is tremendous. It's impossible the kinds of guests and premieres we're doing, and it's all entirely because of the relationships we've built with these big companies. Um, so I'm getting off track, but that's how Anime NYC started. A little bit unique compared to just starting something, in College Town, Pennsylvania, or Ithaca, New York. But to do something in New York definitely took a lot more backing than a smaller city.
Definitely. And I think the cool thing about Anime NYC, and like you brought up, is that it's anime specific. Like there's no like work like going to Comic-Con and stuff like that. Like anime is kind of a,
And
it's in there, but
totally. Like, I mean,
but like
it's
this is such an anime specific thing, and I think that's what's really cool about
and
it.
that was, yeah, and that was the DNA of the show. Like that was entirely what it was about. Is, in New York, we're spoiled. Like there's cool stuff to do any single night of the week. Like there's no shortage of amazing things and nerdy things and pop culture things to do, but there wasn't a space for the anime community focused on them, just for them. And like it's right in our name. It's who we are. Like our entire focus is being a space for anime fans to come together, and then all those creators, both in the US and Japan, to join in as well. So like we're very proud to have made it a space for at this point over 50,000 fans to gather every single year.
Good Lord.
I know. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you've done this, and Anime NYC has grown so large within a relatively like short amount of time. I mean, for only 5 years.
Mhm.
I mean, you're going into your 5th year. Like, how have you been able to handle that kind of like exponential growth of, like year 1 now to year 5? Like, how you been able to handle like things just getting bigger and probably larger on a scale that I'm sure that y'all imagine or prepared for, but still, there's just certain things you probably just can't prepare for.
No, totally. And I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed by the success we've had. We are 5 years old. We're the second biggest anime con in the country. That's preposterous. And like, again, like the goal when this show first launched, it was building a show for anime fans in New York. Like the ambition was never how big can we go. So like if we were a small show with 10,000 fans, I'd still be thrilled. But with us being a little bit bigger, it does mean a lot more logistical problems, a lot more challenges, really, for all of the nuance of what we do. Like we spend a year building this out, and for all that nuance, it really comes down to moving large quantities of people from point A to point B. And can you do that in a smooth manner? And we've got an amazing team that works far too hard to make this happen. But also, we've not always gotten it right. Like there have been hiccups and challenges and things that just did not work. We had major challenges with our growth last year. And a lot of the changes for this year are based upon that. As just having so many people together now means, we do need to shift how we're thinking. So our badge types and numbers per day are shifted this year. We're no longer doing any badge pickup in the building at all. All of the badges are mailing. All of our biggest events all now require a free RSVP. So there's no longer, crud, I got to wait 5 hours in line to see something. No, all of that's done with a free RSVP before the show. So it is just putting more processes in place, which does mean more pre-planning for fans as well. But ideally, it does mean getting from point A to point B is a more smoother process this year and for every year going forward.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Now you talk about a lot of the challenges from last year. Last year was the first year that we went. So me, Jamal, our friends, we kind of took the Lookout bandwagon and trucked over there. We saw kind of everything there. It had a lot of great, sit down. Probably my favorite was Sean Shamel and Chris Sabat. I don't know how they don't have a podcast, but they're legitimately like that's a 2-man show just there.
That's a $1 billion idea right now. You look at all of the celebrities who have their podcasts. That has to happen.
Absolutely. And last year coming out of everything, I mean, how did you guys kind of meet not only just the challenges of like the high amount of people, but the COVID, related challenges as well? I mean, there was we're talking about I remember specifically it was a couple days after the event. I just came from a jog. me, Jamal, and our other friend Jeff are in our group chat, and then we see the news on online that Governor Kathy Hochul, oh my God, there was originally like Omicron discovered there.
Mhm.
How did you guys kind of react to that internally, and did it kind of like put a damper on everything, or how you guys want to approach things moving forward?
It was not a good day when that happened.
Yeah.
And I think
And
for us, go ahead.
I was saying, the crazy thing was that, so I'm from Minnesota. I'm from St. Paul. And the person that got it was also from Minnesota.
Yep.
So my phone all day was
it
blowing
you?
up. Like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Is it you? Was
Dude,
it you? I knew you were there. No, it wasn't me. It was not me. I was like perfectly fine. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Then Meelz finally texted. It was like, yo, you good? Like,
Right.
I heard, yeah.
So it's a always during this period of the year, it's an ever changing landscape and stuff like that. I mean, everything, there's variant BA, BC, B10.
Totally. Yeah. And I think for us, so we found out the exact same time that news story went live. So we had no prior warning. So we found out literally when all that stuff broke. So yeah, it was not a fun day. What I think was tremendous is within 5 minutes of that, the New York City Department of Health, CDC, on the phone with us, talking through everything, contact tracing, all that stuff. And like, it was remarkable to work with them, how professional and prompt they were through all of this. And like, looking at it, like, I think we were in the news as we were one of the first cases of Omicron. And I think it's also not to diminish the seriousness of COVID. It was an easy story to write. Nerd con super spreader. Like, that's a very easy thing. Like, I've been trying to get into the New York Times for 5 years. Finally, I got my New York Times story. Not necessarily the one I wanted. Fauci knows who I am. That's cool. But like, so like the end result of all that is that, looking at after the CDC did everything, like, they did thorough reports and like, they came out early in the year that we weren't a super spreader event. The number of COVID cases that came out of Anime NYC were in line with New York at large, and especially Omicron. And most of those cases came from fans that also went to karaoke, went to bars, that kind of stuff. Like, we had proof of vaccination and we had face coverings inside the venue. So like, it's actually been stated, like, we were a gold standard for how to mitigate COVID at a large event. That being said, all that was after the fact, and those Comic-Con super spreader stories are still gonna be out there for a few years. For us though, like, we do take this very seriously. And we do know that COVID is still a thing. People still get sick from this. People still die from this. And as we look to Anime NYC this year, we are very clear that we are keeping our COVID policies in place. If anything, have only heightened them from last year. So beyond everything with last year, have a much broader, bigger COVID check procedure than we had last time out. Because I think our single biggest challenge last year was the amount of time on Friday it took for people to go through that test or go through the checkpoint. We're using the exact same process that Madison Square Garden uses. After last year's show, we spoke to a number of very large venues around New York for what they do, and amazed by how transparent a lot of large stadiums were with their procedures. So we're using the MSG model to mitigate all that wait times. So we want to keep our audience healthy and safe. While a lot of large events have dropped most or all of their COVID policies, we are certainly keeping ours in place. And I think the harsh reality though is also just, we're still in a COVID world, and simply leaving your house, I mean, you've got risk of exposure. So we're doing everything we can, but it continues to be an interesting and new wrinkle into doing any sort of public event.
And what I kind of remember the most about last year is that I think the majority of people were still very much so masked up, and it kind of felt like we want to preserve this because this is our first like major for me, for at least for me, this was my first major event kind of like going out, you know what I'm saying? Like, not that, 2020, 2021, like other than maybe going to like the one time the Knicks were in the playoffs. Um, other than going to that, this was kind of like my first major thing, and I kind of wanted not only but keep myself safe, but it kind of felt like everybody as a community. And I think that's what's the most important part about it. It's like, I think as a community we value this event so much that we don't. I'm sure no one wanted anything of the sort to kind of happen like that. So I think with that and the mask policies and everything like that, I think it came out for like. I felt pretty good stepping in the building all 3 days because I was there all 3
absolutely.
days. Yeah,
absolutely.
We were there all 3 days, and I felt pretty damn good about it.
Absolutely. Like, again, it was, I think, an easy story to write, but like, I think we were very confident in the actual policies last year, and exceptionally confident in what we're doing for this year. And I think like you hit on the power of anime cons, like even before COVID. We're all nerds. We are, we've all probably had, not the best high school experiences, and like, we're always looking for our tribe and our people, and to have a space where everyone there gets the same jokes that you do, likes the same stuff that you do, like that's a legit community. That's something that we don't always have. And there is such a feeling of home with any event like this, as these are your people. And that's always been true. And I feel, especially now where we are in this, late COVID world, is especially true. Like for Anime NYC last year, for a lot of fans, that was their first time they went out in a year or two. This is the first time you might be seeing your friends again. Like, it was a very special moment. And I think looking at any anime con since then as well, like that is still there, up there to just bubbling up, is this is still special. And I think all of us recognize more than we used to just how important those physical communities are. Whether it's an anime show or you mentioned like the Nets, like go into the Nets, go into a game is very different than watching it on your couch, or go into a concert, very different than, watching a thumbnail on YouTube. Like there's just something that I think is just innate with us as a species, where we want to come together. And I don't think we all recognize just how deep-seated that is until COVID took that away.
Definitely. One thing that you definitely brought up too about like finding your tribe and how last year went. One thing I really noticed and I really enjoyed last year was the diversity and like the Black voices that you had in the space at Anime NYC. Was that something like very intentional that you guys were just like, hey, like we want to highlight this, or was it kind of more of a thing of just like these what we feel are the best panels and these are what we feel, and it happened to flow that way. I mean, even this year, like
yeah, great. Like, and it's both. Like it's no matter what. Like we want the content at the show to be quality. Like we want to make sure whatever we're doing on stage or guests we're bringing in, like there's a reason for them to be there. But like as we do that, like anime is like it's the stereotypical anime fan is or used to be like the white nerd in the basement. Like that's not who anime fans are anymore. Like anime is legit for everyone, and I want to make sure the show represents that, and our guests and our speakers represent that. Like when you look out at the crowd that comes to Anime NYC, it looks like New York City. Like it is every background, every age, every gender, and like we want to celebrate that. So I'm really like pleased to hear that. As like that's a big thing. Like we want to make sure this is a show where everyone feels comfortable and sees themselves in it.
Now, kind of going back to the kind of the anatomy of an anime con, and especially one as big as Anime NYC, when do you guys truly do like begin working on it? And probably what would you say is the hardest part in getting to essentially that finish line? I know that it's I'm sure you guys, I'm sure right before the show there's probably a pep talk. It's like, listen, we're going to war, come on, today is the day, this is it. But like,
Yeah.
when would you say when you start, and probably what's probably the hardest part of the process?
Of course. So great question. So for us, like it typically takes a full year to plan an event. So our event is, in the end of November. So we typically the immediate weeks after. So in December, we take that time to do our internal debriefs, talk to our key partners and publishers, talk to fans, understand what worked, what didn't work, and what could we do better, or what are new ideas for next year. And then in January, we're legitimately starting the process for how do we make this show happen. And typically, we'll say like January to July is a lot of strategy, is a lot of here's the intent, here's the goal, here is the skeleton, here's the framework. Once we get into August, the hope really is we are executing. We know what everything is going to be, and it's really making reality what we spent the past 6 months ideating around. So that's the rough idea. Given we're still in this COVID world, not all of those timelines still hold. So there are a lot of things that are happening later than are ideal, just because of there are still unknowns. I think we're planning maybe 3 months ahead for a lot of logistics because things could shift. There could be a new variant. There could be who knows. But generally, a whole year of planning, half of the year strategy, half the year's execution. We also like our guest conversations sometimes take longer than a year. We've already had conversations about talent for next year. And like one of the biggest things that we see from fans is, why do you announce all of your guests so late? Like, especially this year, this past month has been almost daily major, huge guests being announced. We're working with these talents for 8 months, 10 months, 12 months, 14 months. So it's all a very long process to get approvals as to when we can say things, what we can say. So we are not holding anything back intentionally. We typically announce as soon as we've got the thumbs up. So that's the other wrinkle of talent. Definitely takes a long time. In terms of what is the hardest part, that's a good question, and I should have a good answer for that, and I don't. Like, a lot of things are definitely difficult. I would say a few different answers. Working with Japanese talent is always difficult, not because they are difficult, but just because of, if you're coming from the other side of the world, like, we want to make sure you have an amazing experience. So there's a lot of prep that goes into bringing out a Japanese guest. This year, we are welcoming Hajime Isayama, creator of Attack on Titan. This is his first time he's ever at an event in the US. It's a little bit of planning that goes into that. We're not winging that one. So that's always a significant amount of time. I think the other biggest thing for us, our big challenge this year, really is going back to growth, and how do we properly do this show going forward. We are a lot bigger than we used to be, and it used to be me and a small group of people in a room making stuff happen. Given the size we are now, that does not work. A team, a much broader, bigger team is required. So for us, it's less about heroics and much more about what are the processes and policies that we can put in place. talking about the bureaucracy of middle management within doing an anime convention. Not a sexy topic, but I think one that is required for us to be at the size we are now. Yeah, that's.
Do you get any opportunity to be on the floor at any point during the weekend?
Do you even get to enjoy the weekend?
When I came from a previous job, I used to work on our commencements every year.
Yes.
That was that's our big event that we do every year.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I reached the commencement, I largely I know everything is going to happen. I know who's going to be there. I just want to make sure everything runs smooth. I do not need to be a part of the same time. Do you even get a chance for a couple minutes? Let me nerd out. I know this person's going to be there. I know these sellers are going to be there. Yeah. You get any opportunity.
It's a couple minutes. Like typically, like when I'm during the show itself, like I'm moving from bump to bump or fire to fire. Like I'm moving to what needs attention, what can go better, or where do we anticipate in a problem, and being there beforehand. So that's most of what the time is on site. But yes, like I will duck into 5 minutes of a few big panels or things just to bask in that for a little bit, just to see that. Because I think for me, the biggest thing, and I think this is the big thing for everyone on the team, it's we spend a year making this happen. And while we're not going to see or do all that fun stuff ourselves, we are making the best day of the year for someone else. There are 50,000 people that we're going to make so exceedingly happy. Like this is their Christmas. This is their Mardi Gras. This is their Super Bowl. This is it. And to just take a moment and to look down at that expo floor and recognize all of those people are here because of what we've done, and our fingerprints are all over that. That's the moment that's really, really exciting, and why we do this.
Doing this, 5 years, is there a specific moment? Is there a peak for you where you're just like, this is the great, I love my job, I love what I like? What is like the best Anime NYC moment for you? I mean, you've been doing this for 5 years. You've planned. You've created so many big moments. And also, is there a moment coming up this year that you're truly excited for the fans to see?
Yes. Let me answer the second one first. So I think I mentioned already, the creator of Attack on Titan is coming to Anime NYC this year. This is a guest that I know other bigger events than us have wanted for a decade. Absolutely humbled and thrilled that we're going to play host to his first visit to the U.S. That's amazing. Would
there be a Q&A session in there? I just have a question about the last chapter. That's it. Yeah. I just need to talk to him about the last chapter. I just have a couple questions, and I just need to know if the floor is open, because I need to be able to get this off my chest. Listen.
So we announced he's coming last week. Okay. This coming week, we're announcing all of the details around his panel, his autographing, all that stuff. So again, I can only say things once I'm allowed to. But like, absolutely amazed to have someone like that there. Like, we've never been short on big guests. I mean, before COVID, the last year we had Yoshiyuki Tomino, the creator of Gundam. So like, we're thrilled by that. But I think Isayama is just such a highest pinnacle of holy crap. So that even, has me a bit winded of like, wow, that's going to be big. There are some other big things that are not yet announced that are massive as well. I'm trying to say what I can say without getting in trouble. There are a few Japanese voice actresses we've yet to announce that are some of the biggest in the field. There are still our concerts that we've yet to announce that are coming soon. And then we've also been fortunate to be home to a number of different world premieres. With us at the end of November, because of our relationships, we've been able to present anime that are going to typically start streaming in January or February. So we're presenting content. We're presenting episodes that have not been shown in the US before and have not been shown in Japan before. There is one world premiere, especially, that I can't mention yet, but is a super big deal. And hopefully in the next 5 days, I can say it.
Oh man.
So, I'm excited.
Yeah, those are all super
I'm excited.
cool.
I was about to get the inside scoop, but you know what? We'll wait. I'll wait for everybody else.
But nonetheless, no, because this is true, right? Like last year, I stayed. It was one of the first places where you saw the dub of Odd Taxi, and I loved Odd Taxi. And I stayed around. I sticked around on that Sunday, and later that day, actually, I'm a big wrestling fan. They were having a wrestling event in New York City as well, Survivor Series at Barclays. I stuck around just so I could see that. Went home, quickly took a shower, jumped back out, and managed to make it to the Barclays Center for Survivor Series as well. But these are things that you just can't miss at Anime NYC. That's why, it's like great moments like these, and kind of like, I don't know if you had any other follow up, Jamal. I kind of not want to nerd out a little bit.
I will give you like what's my favorite moment. My favorite moment at the show has absolutely nothing to do with any of the guests or premieres. My favorite moment was the first year of Anime NYC. Because we spent over a year building this. We'd been talking to major creators, major companies, and I'm a fan. I live here. I know that there's a desire for this, but still, until it's real, until it's there, you don't know. And it was this magic moment when everyone's there, and for all the stuff we're doing, so much of what an anime con is just hanging out with friends and new friends and doing fun stuff, doing dumb stuff, doing whatever, like just celebrating, our community in this space. And there was a group of cosplayers in Haikyuu cosplay, and they were just doing a little volleyball game in the corner. And like that was it. We created this canvas for them to do anything in, and here they are playing a volleyball game. And that's awesome. That's fantastic. That for me, I think the moment when yep, we built something good.
Well, speaking of all these animes, kind of usually what we do with guests that we have on the first time is we kind of want their origin story of how they got into anime, and what are their favorites, and where they currently land on some of the stuff that are out today. So kind of what got you into anime? What are your favorites? Please divulge.
Yeah, I got into anime through Vampire Hunter D. So Vampire Hunter D, saw it on the Sci-Fi Channel in the early 90s, and I had no clue what the hell this was. I don't know, young teenager at that point or something, and no frame of reference. This is a cartoon, but the story is amazing, and it's bloody, and it might be some boobs in it. These are things that aren't in cartoons, and the spoiler alert for a 30-year-old anime, that the hero doesn't get the girl. What the hell is this? I couldn't fathom what this was, so I went to AOL, learned it's called Japanimation, and learned that there's more of it. That's what got me into it. And while there's more anime than you could ever watch on your phone right now, back in the early 90s, that was not the case. So it was very much hunting out more, finding more, and really started doing stuff with anime clubs in middle school to share this with people, to show people what this is, and to give other fans a space to come together. But Vampire Hunter D was what got me into this. In the 90s, I absolutely loved Ronin Warriors, Samurai Troopers, loved Martian Successor Nadesco. Those were some of my favorite series as a kid. Looking now, I mean, I watch a ton of stuff, a ton of weird stuff as well. Like, I know the new Bleach is here. I know Chainsaw Man is here. They're both incredible. I am personally very excited for the last season of Golden Kamuy. Golden Kamuy is pitched as like this award-winning historical anime about treasure hunting in Hokkaido. In reality, it's a show about a bunch of weirdos running around in the woods. Like, it is bizarre and funny and just so weird. And I love it. So I'm thrilled the last season just launched with that. I'm very excited for the new Gundam, which from Mercury. Very interested to see where we're going with this. And then
I love it so far. I love it so much.
It's so cool. And I don't know if this is in a recording, but we're talking about Char a little bit. But it is interesting with Suleta's red character design scheme and things. Like, I'm curious if there are any more nods and winks coming there. But really into it. Like, I loved Iron-Blooded Orphans. This is a very different Gundam series, but so excited for something new like this. The other thing that I am watching, I finally made the commitment during the pandemic to start One Piece. I figured if I don't do it now,
you never will. You
exactly.
never will. You never will.
Like, the excuses, you don't got time. Like, well,
what's the episode count? Every guest that I ask, where are you at? What's the episode?
So I am currently in Dressrosa. I'm in about 660 right now. So we just got the backstory of King Riku. We learned about Don Flamingo and all the crap he did in the kingdom. And I think we're just getting into, I believe it's going to be Rebecca winning her round of the tournament. So Dressrosa right now. But yeah, so I've been doing that now for the past 2 years. And
I feel with One Piece, you have two choices. You can either read it all or you can watch it all. You can't do both though. Like, you got to choose one or the other. I chose to read it. Meelz watched it.
I haven't even watched all of it.
You haven't even watched all of it.
I'm not even as far as you are. I'm on episode like 210.
He says 210 so lightly too. Like, I just watched 210.
Is that like, are you on Skypiea?
They literally probably a couple of episodes ago, actually probably more than a couple of episodes ago, just met Ace. So
okay.
I'm super.
You're early.
Yeah, but there's so much canvas at this point. Like, I'm just like, but 200. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I always laugh. I'm like, I'm early, 200 episodes in. Oh my god! When it was 200, and because I've grown up watching. I mean, I'm big on Toonami and all this other stuff like that. Late 90s, all the other stuff. To 200 episodes into Dragon Ball Z, you're there. It's almost at the end, but I mean, at least you cleared the better part of it. One Piece. It's still going.
It's still going, and those episodes are super fun. Like there's a clear, there's a time skip like midway through, and like everything before the time skip is still like very Wild West. Them having adventures in this world, like there's a goal they're going toward, but like it is still just a lot of weirdos in the ocean doing weird stuff.
Right.
Once you get through the time skip, there is a bit more of a focus. Like there's a bit more of an end game we're working toward. Again, I'm in 600. There's over 1,000. But like there is a bit more of like, I see where we're going here. But like those pre-time skip things are fun. My favorite arc remains, this is controversial, but I loved, I don't know if I can say it.
There will be someone who levels with you. There, no worries. There's
gonna be somebody.
I loved Thriller Bark. Thriller Bark is my favorite arc of One Piece. Like it's just dumb. It's dumb Scooby-Doo shenanigans. You also meet Brooke, who's got the best best moment when he joins the crew. But no, it's good, and I do think so. Reading would have probably been the smarter decision, because I imagine that you can go faster. Reading,
oh yeah, I was blowing through. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep going. It took me about a month to get all the way caught up.
No.
It took me about a month. It took me about a month to go from chapter 1 to chapter, what is it? 10,
60 or something, yeah.
Well, okay, when I caught up, they weren't at a chapter 1,000 yet, or we were just about to get there.
So I'm so terrible.
It took me about a month to fully catch up, though. I was reading like a madman.
No big deal, yeah. But like I mean, I love it. Like it was such an amazing decision, and sure, come to Anime NYC. It's a great convention. But seriously, watch One Piece. Read One Piece. Like if you haven't started, do it. You can do the entire thing in 1 month, apparently. But like my goal is, like, once I get caught up and get week to week with the anime, I do want to read. Like I do want to read the manga. Like it's so good. It's so good.
We gotta let you go soon, but listen, what do I feel like this is a rhetorical question at this point. What do you want people to get out of Anime NYC this year? What do you?
So I think for me, it comes back to, like, I want to make a place that feels like home. Like, want to be a space where you have fun. And while, yes, there are amazing guests, we've got the creator of Attack on Titan, we've got a actually massive Gundam experience coming to the show, Final Fantasy concert, main cast from Jujutsu Kaisen, all sorts of just incredible stuff, and it's going to be amazing. It's when you're there, my hope is, don't just go to the things you know you like. Like, make this an opportunity to find something new. Like, find your new favorite anime. Pick up a manga you've not seen before. Start up a conversation.
There's plenty of that. There's
definitely.
It's anyone in that building. They're there because they love this too. And this gives you an opportunity to find something new, discover something fun, like fall in love. Like that's my hope. But yeah, go see the cool stuff too.
Absolutely. Peter Tatara of Anime NYC, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being on our podcast. We'll be at Anime NYC, so hopefully we meet you guys there. Hopefully if we see you on the floor, I'll just wave as you're maybe like running.
Flop sweat on my brow. Yes.
I will make sure to wave. We got more of the lookout coming after this. But thank you, and yeah, we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Well, that was fun.
That was great. That was great, man. I enjoyed myself with that one.
Listen, man, it's like you said earlier, Anime NYC run by people who love anime, and you can definitely tell that this isn't it is, but it's all about one thing that I'm a super proponent of, and it's community. It's about finding your tribe.
Exactly.
It's about finding your people. And for those 2-3 days in November 18th through 20th, you can find your tribe. You can find these cosplayers, people who enjoy manga, people who enjoy Gundam, people who enjoy figures, people who enjoy things. And then you can also go up and, like Jamal, try to press the creator of Attack on Titan.
Listen, I just got a couple questions. I just need to know if I can ask him. That's
He don't even speak English, bro. Hopefully, I think so. He might not speak English.
Listen, whoever it is, we gonna find a way to communicate. We gonna find a way. I'll point to the panels myself. Like, what is this? I need to know. I need to know. All right.
Well, listen, that was a great interview. This was a great episode.
Amazing.
You can follow us at The Lookout on RNC Radio to listen to all podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, everything. You can follow us on Twitter at The Lookout RNC. This has been a great episode. We'll be back next week with another guest. Who knows? Maybe not. Or maybe we have a lot more to talk about. Go watch Chainsaw Man. Episode 2 is really, really good.
Go watch Gundam. What you agree?
Witch of Murky, which I'll start. I gotta make time for it.
I whatever. I'll believe it when I see it. You need to
All right.
send me
I'll
the
send you.
video.
I'll send you a picture of me with my thumbs up watching it. And yeah, just enjoy everything that's going on. This is a great fall for anime, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.